Hello and welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, the Professor Russ Stevens and Uncle Joe McLaughlin. Oh, we have another great show for you tonight. So, boys, let's get it started. We have to start with the New England Patriots. Yes,
Hmm.
indeed. 1 week from today, we're going to have a special Grandstanders Live show, NFL Draft. We'll be live from our homes watching the draft and with the commentary, everything. We always start with the Russell Stevens. Elliot Wolf came on today with some phony press conference that said absolutely nothing. It looks like they're going to end up with, of course, taking the third pick, because if they don't, Elliot Wolf is probably out on the street in a couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, he did exactly what you want him to do in the situation is say we're open for business.
Right.
Like you want that. And you want him to say, but we'd also be happy taking the third pick. He was perfectly on message today, but I think he'll make the pick unless someone comes in and just blows them away. Right.
Yeah, right. Joe, do you think that they like both Daniels and May?
Oh, I'm sure they have a preference, but it's not up to them. They're going to take whoever is left over.
Does it help, guys, that if the Commanders kind of show their hand, if they are saying we are going to take a quarterback in two, and apparently they may announce it early, they may say
Great.
they're going to
I
take.
don't think they can because they're not on the clock. I mean,
Yeah, I don't think they can either. You're right, Joe. I
No,
think
but they're going to leak it, possibly.
yeah, they could leak it, but like, are you going to trust it?
yeah,
I wouldn't trust anything. Like, why would you trust anything? Why wouldn't you just say
this is
we have plan
liaison.
A if they pick Jaden Daniels, we have plan B if they pick Drake May, and we have plan C if someone blows us away with an offer.
So, do you think the Patriots? What would they do with that intelligence? Did that help them out? Does that help them out on as far as not, of course?
Oh, it would help them in the trade market because
Right.
if say the Raiders or the Jets are somewhere down the line, like Daniels, and he's the one who's going to be available, then they're more likely to want to give you more in trade.
Yeah, that's what it seems. All right,
It would make it easier, because you could start the trade negotiations right now and get them in place for draft night.
This is going to be the next week is just going to be, oh my God, we're going to hear more phony rumors for clickbait than you've ever seen.
Hey, so Scott, I just have to ask you, which hospital would you prefer to go to when they draft JJ McCarthy? Because I think you can typically you can tell the paramedics I could prefer to go to Newton Wellesley, or I definitely want to go to the Baptist. I'd take me to Mass General because we need to know. Joe and I are part of the advanced team. We need to know.
Well, where he already goes to Dana. He probably want the Brigham,
All right, so we send him, Joe. We'll send him to the Brigham when they pick JJ McCarthy at 3, right?
If that happens, seriously, I don't even know what I'll do. I told you I'm going to be a Texans fan.
They might be
once I get out of the hospital.
McCarthy if they're picking him at 11 or something. I don't think they'd pick him at 3.
Look,
it's just smoke and mirrors.
Okay, right. If they all of a sudden get a boatload, if they get 7 or 8 picks, and then they go to 11 and then pick JJ McCarthy, I can come to some conclusion they didn't like it. But to take JJ McCarthy 3 would be absolute malpractice of all. I'd probably be the one of the worst decisions.
He seems like the Mac Jones of this year, to tell you the truth.
Right, exactly. It was only a few months ago, Russell. They were talking about McCarthy at possibly a second-round pick.
Yeah.
How do you? That's just it's funny season, right?
It's funny season. I also think that he's legitimately moved up the. I think he's legitimately moved up the ranks, and I don't think he's moved up all the way to 3. But I think everyone now sees him as a significant step ahead of Penix and Nix. And look, Joe, what would you say? I bet you there's a 50% chance he goes before pick 7.
I don't know if he'd less. I think there's a lot of disinformation around him, and they're trying to get people to make the mistake of taking him. is a lot of what's happened because they want to pick someone further down the line. There's so many people that between 10 and 15, every single team needs a quarterback.
Yeah, but isn't Minnesota basically said we traded for these picks and we want to go up and get a quarterback, and if they can't get to the Patriots, they know they're not going to get May, and so they're looking at McCarthy somewhere between 4 and 6, I think.
I think quarterbacks are always overdrafted. I mean,
Yeah.
McCarthy's probably not in your top 20 prospects, but as a quarterback, you get overdrafted.
Let's say there's a 30% chance, 25% chance the Patriots pick JJ McCarthy at 3.
I don't think there's that.
No,
I'd say more like 1%.
You stop saying that. You just aggravating me already. It's only like 5 minutes in the show. He just keeps on poking the bear. He won't get off that. He thinks if he says it enough, it's going to make it true, and it could possibly do that. Just stop it. Can we erase the tape?
No, the Brigham. So, Joe, my takeaway from this conversation is the Brigham and women.
Yeah,
right?
yes, Brigham women. It's a family hospital.
All right.
Could you just throw us a curveball and draft Marvin Harrison?
No.
Nah, I don't see that happening at
It
all.
doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
So because Arizona may be in the best spot, because if all of a sudden people want JJ McCarthy, that 4th spot where they have right then, they have plenty of options. They can get a boatload for number 4.
And all those teams behind, like especially in that, once you get to like the Vikings, the Raiders, the Jets, the Broncos, the Falcons, they're all desperately in need of a quarterback. There's lots of takers, a lot of people who want to move up too. So
yeah, look, I know we're sleeping on the Jets. The Jets have a quarterback issue.
Oh yeah, they need the quarterback of the future.
Yeah,
right. But the Jets aren't. I mean, the Jets are trying to win a Super Bowl this year or next year with Rodgers, right?
Yeah.
So they're not gonna pick.
They're gonna want someone in the 2nd or 3rd round that
Maybe.
they can wait, can be the love or the Rodgers, for them.
Okay, it's time for prediction time. We got it. All right, here we go. Russell, the pick is up. Third pick. Wait, first of all, first question I'm going to ask.
Yeah.
If it gets traded, will it get traded before that period between will it get traded before the draft?
No. Get traded after the Commanders pick. They'll see, to Joe's point, they probably have someone who they favor of those two. And if the Commanders take the guy they favor, that may open up the Patriots to say, well, we're not as excited about this guy at 3. So why don't we look at the Minnesota trade, see what we can do?
Okay, so Russ, what do they do?
I think they're picking Drake May. I think that's the guy they like, and that's probably the guy who's going to be there.
Yeah. I think go ahead, Joe.
Oh, I think they would, if they like Drake May, they'll take him, and I think they do. But otherwise, if he's not there, they're trading back. I don't think they're hot for Daniels.
Yeah, I agree with Joe. I think that if Drake May is drafted too, that they have a trade ready and they'll make the call, and but I think it will be with Minnesota, Russell, like you said. I think because they don't want to go how much further down, and they definitely want in this draft multiple first-round
Well,
picks.
what about the Giants? The Giants are desperately in need of a quarterback at 6, and you would only be going back to 6. And that would leave all the other quarterbacks available to you.
Yeah, as you guys know, I've texted that to you a couple times. I think the most creative trade would be they go back to 6 and still get McCarthy. I also saw another creative one today where they go down, but they get so much that they can go back up again and get the quarterback and still make out like with a first rounder out of the whole thing.
Or get enough capital next year that they'll be able to go get what they need this year and get the quarterback next year.
Well, I want him to get Drake May. So
I do
I'd
too.
be
Yeah.
disappointed, to be honest with you.
Because he's not named J.J. McCarthy.
That and Daniels again. He does not have. We looked at that Thornton, the wide receiver that failed, and he just doesn't have an NFL body. They're very similar bodies. You can't. You have to have a certain makeup to be able to handle the rigors of the NFL.
Yeah.
And he's a real thin guy from the wrist, from the forearms to the legs. I'm just not sold on Daniels as far as being durability is in the NFL. Would you guys agree?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I mean, I think
think
he'd be, but Scotty, he would be really fun to watch. Like, I think
Oh
he
my
would,
God.
hell, like, you talk about looking forward to football games. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Oh, the hype machine on him would be incredible,
Yeah.
right?
it would be Steve Grogan all over without being the tough guy. But no, I think he's good. He threw more passes than I think J.J. McCarthy and Drake May combined in his college career. I mean, the guys can throw. So
Look, LSU has had good quarterbacks come out of their system with the Joe Burrows of the world, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so
I'm fine if, by the way, I'm perfectly happy if they take Daniels. I'll convince myself, I think the three of us would be thrilled if they, in the end, we'll be excited to see either May or Daniels play.
Yes.
Right.
yeah. But I don't want him taking a quarterback just to take a quarterback just because Bob Kraft tells him that if they don't think Drake May or Daniels, whoever's available to them, is the guy going forward.
Well, look, I mean, obviously a lot of teams are hot for trot for these guys also. So
Yeah.
I
Well,
think there's
everyone's looking for
evaluation that
that.
these guys are great quarterbacks. And Wolf said that today. I mean, these guys are quality guys. I mean, who knows what's going to happen, obviously, in the NFL. Again, like Kevin Booth told us, it's when they put those NFL pads on for the first time, do you realize whether you fucked up or you got a start
Right.
in the making. And so there you go. What's the first need other than quarterback, Uncle Joe?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, a quality wide receiver would be nice on the.
But what's the
play
next
the
priority? What do you want to see the next?
Oh, a left tackle, obviously.
Okay, Russell.
Yeah, same. I think this draft, if they draft with their own picks, should be quarterback, tackle, wide receiver, and then pick three more wide receivers. I don't care after that point, right?
Right.
Elliot Wolf today was saying otherwise. He said, "Well, I think we got good quality out of our offense, and we addressed that in the offseason, so we don't
Joe,
have to draft for offense."
Yeah, one thing, Joe, Greg Bedard has been writing this, and he's pretty clued into the Packers and Wolf. He believes that the Patriots are actually going to make a trade right after the draft for a, high-end receiver, a number one or number two level receiver.
There's a lot of them, being dangled out there. Brown, Jefferson.
Right.
I mean, quality guys that have proven it in the NFL.
Based on that theory, then you would think that they would trade down, accumulate future high picks, and then go get their quarterback at 11.
No, I don't think so, Scotty. I think if they come out of the draft with a quarterback and a tackle at 1-2, pick a receiver at 3, and then make a trade after the draft for a high-end wide receiver, like that would be ideal. I would love that.
No, but I'm saying you're giving up what? You're going to give up no more than a third-round pick, I guess, next year.
You could give up a second-round pick next year or a third-round pick. I mean, whatever. I mean, like you get a number one receiver. They've got salary cap space.
Yeah.
So of course you would give
And a trade down doesn't necessarily have to be just draft picks. I saw one today that Minnesota might want to go 11-23 and their left tackle there, the young kid. Now that's of interest. That's something you don't have to draft. And you still got two first round picks.
They're not doing that. No, no. I want so much.
I also saw Jefferson.
No.
Jefferson in the 11, but then you'd have to pay Jefferson.
No way.
He is the best receiver in the league.
You come out of this draft, there are going to be 5 teams looking to dump $20 million receivers for a third-round pick next year or second at the most, right? Yeah. And you do that every day, twice on Sunday.
Well, the market hasn't been very good.
Getting 30 million.
the market hasn't been very good as far as trades for wide receivers. So where was what, a fourth or fifth round
That's
pick?
what I'm saying, is I don't think you need to give up even a first or a second. You may get a really high-end receiver with a third or a second,
Well, we're
right?
talking about T.
They're
Higgins, right?
expensive, that's
Could
why.
be T. Higgins, but take a look around though. Like there's going to be teams who are taking, to Joe's point, who have a receiver whose contract is up at the end of next year, and they're like, we're not paying this guy $30 million.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be so interesting. This is the most interesting draft as far as the Patriots go that I can remember.
Oh,
In the
since
last 20,
Bledsoe.
Yeah,
you're right. And that's a lot. And I don't
Long
know,
time
were they
ago.
even, what is it even televised back then?
Oh,
Yeah, it
yeah,
was
they were-
televised,
Yeah,
but
they
it was
were
all on
televised.
one day though, remember?
Yeah, but Bledsoe, I don't even remember that. It's funny, that is a long time ago.
Yeah.
That's for damn sure. Well, it's going to be exciting, nevertheless.
Oh, that was before Bob Kraft bought the team.
Yeah, we have to go. We have to mention Brookline's own Bob Kraft. Each week now, it seems like there's a controversy with Bob Kraft and Bill Belichick. It's getting actually annoying, to be honest with you. And it's what happens when you try to do something like the Dynasty,
Mhm.
and all of a sudden the knives come out on and people want to get you back for that. The hit piece yesterday was on Kraft trashing Belichick to the Falcons. Arthur Blank, the owner. What was your take on that, Russell? That whole, I know you read the piece.
A lot of it was ground that was already covered, but
Yeah.
um, I think you're exactly right. I think people are sick of the Bob Kraft. That article made Kraft look way worse than Belichick. And
Absolutely.
I think this is the comeuppance that Kraft is getting for way overplaying his hand. And he's either ignoring good advice or getting really bad advice, but he can't stop himself right now. He can't.
No. Right, Joe, he's a billionaire. He has to win everything, right? Everything.
Yeah. Well, he didn't want to see if Belichick had gotten a job and been successful, he would have looked like the loser. So it was in his benefit to sabotage anything Belichick did.
If the article is correct, Kraft, that was just
I think he didn't get the
disgusting.
Atlanta job because of McKay, the president there and everything. He'd gotten the whole organization to lobby against him and say, you're all going to lose your jobs, if he comes in. That was the thing why Blank finally decided no, because McKay and him are close.
It's so clear though. Like, I think the only reason why you hire Belichick is because you think you have a Super Bowl worthy winning team right now, and you bring in Belichick for 2 years because you feel like you have a 2-year window. You don't bring in like that fit with Atlanta was goofy, right?
They didn't even have a quarterback.
Right. So I think if you're Belichick, it's Buffalo, the Eagles, or the Cowboys, right?
It's the NFC East. Giants, Eagles, even the Commanders could be in the Eagles.
Yeah, I just don't think the Giants or the Commanders are close enough.
I think he would have had the Eagles job this year if he'd wanted it, but he didn't.
Yeah, well, is he chasing the record solely, or is he also look, he was on
I'm
McAfee's
sure,
show last night. Is he chasing the dollars still too?
I think it's 1A and 1B and 1C. He wants a record. He'd love to get a Super Bowl to stick it right up Bob Kraft's ass. And he likes money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He's going to be, during the draft, he's with Pat McAfee, going to be on that's the only gig he'll take because he won't take a regular thing.
Well, they're paying him big bucks too. Trust me.
Yeah. Well, he's told ESPN, ABC, NBC, Fox, he won't take a regular gig.
That McAfee
He doesn't want to be tied down to.
Well, he's going to sign. I think he's supposed to sign with Peyton Manning's group, Omaha production. So he'll do podcasts. He'll show up on the Manning podcast, and the Manning cast, which would be actually pretty funny. I bet he'd be really good on that.
Yeah.
Right.
I think he should just forget the coaching and just go into.
He might like doing the media.
He's not going to. He's not going to forget coaching.
And he's writing the book. It's supposed to be a coaching primer, not a memoir.
Yeah, sure. They always say that. Yeah. The first two words will be Bob Kraft.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
No,
Yeah.
he hasn't said anything in public anyway, in any way denigrating Kraft.
Well, I mean, that report. Trust me, that that made that was.
Oh, well, his I'm sure his people make sure he gets seen in a good light. Same
That's everybody's
with
worst.
the people in Foxborough, like Elliot Wolf and them are going to make sure Bob Kraft is seen in a good light. He's signing their checks.
Fellas, that's everybody's worst fear who look for a job. That the person they gave for a reference trashes them.
Yeah.
That I mean, that is that hits home to everyone. That story. You know what I mean? It actually. I don't even know. It used to be when they had human resource laws. Actually, that's actually illegal to do what Kraft did. To be honest,
But isn't he did on
he's supposed to say, in theory, that Bill Belichick worked in his 2001 to 2023, right? And that's it. He's not allowed to say stuff like that.
but didn't they also say that Belichick trashed Matt Patricia?
No,
And
he was trashing. Everyone said they're all what soldiers, not.
Josh McDaniels, yeah.
He trashed every coordinator.
Well, remember, Bob Kraft went and got Matt Patricia and brought him back. He went and got Josh McDaniels off that plane and brought him back. He forced those guys on him too.
Joe Judge too.
Yeah.
I never understood what he did for a couple of years. All right,
Bob Kraft is the one who brought all those stiff coaches back here.
Oh, there's no question he brought Patricia back. You're absolutely right. All right, we're going to go to the
Oh, and
Celtics.
Josh McDaniel, he personally went and dragged him off the plane.
Yeah. No, look, this is, and then apparently Bob Kraft, I just want to finish up, wanted to fire Belichick last year, and Jonathan talked
Yeah.
about it. I mean, that's a new one, right? Or have you?
Yeah, Jonathan, the voice of reason. It's
Russell, had you heard that?
I had heard that. I just don't know what to believe, Scott. Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, it's the silly season. I just think everyone's saying everything and everyone's got an agenda, and
This is
there's
what happens
no
when you have a
ground
bad
truth.
team.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, everyone starts pointing fingers at everyone else.
It's a drama. Okay, we're going to go to the Boston Celtics. Everything worked out yesterday that possibly could happen.
It's like the parting of the Red Sea, Scotty, right now.
Oh my God. Sixers. If you had told me what did you want out of the Sixers Heat game, I want the Sixers to win and Jimmy Butler to get hurt. Yeah, that's who I am. Okay. No, I didn't want him. I didn't want him to be handicapped. Just he can't play in the Celtics series. There's nothing
He's
wrong
out
with
for
that.
many weeks.
Yeah,
many
right.
weeks.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's exactly what happened, fellas. Now all of a sudden, it's the Heat against Chicago, and I'm sure all of us would have been rooting for Chicago, right? Tomorrow night. But
I would assume so, although you wonder whether, would you rather face the Heat without Butler or Chicago? I think it's pretty close to 6 of one, half dozen of another, to be honest with you.
Yeah. DeMar's killed us over the years for sure.
No, I want the Heat. Absolutely.
Oh, you want the Heat?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Without Butler?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we
He's revisiting last year.
no, but this one without Jimmy.
Oh no, this year the Heat wouldn't, even with Butler, would be like toothless because for the simple reason Tatum doesn't handle the ball anymore. Simple right there. Spoelstra knew exactly how to befuddle him by switching up defenses every single time he touched the ball.
Well, so
and now you don't see it. That and Miami's lack of offense. They don't have as much offense, losing Strus and Vincent and who else? There was another guy. Yeah. That that's a lot of options they lost.
Yeah.
Although that new kid with Vasquez, he's good.
Yeah, but he's just he's a plugger.
Yeah.
Russ, I mean, you're right either way, but I mean, literally, without Butler, they have no offense at all. We would sweep them.
Well, hang on a second. So first off, you can't predict a sweep, right? Even when you win, what they won 78% of their games. I think that is that's a 5 game out of 7 in a series. So I think you got to always figure there's a game, maybe even a 2 game where Caleb Martin shoots 7 for 8. Or look what Batum did for the Sixers
Oh, I
last
know,
night.
right?
Oh, I know.
I
Jeez.
mean, like it's tough. Like you could go out, have a bad shooting night. Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, Caleb Martin all shoot well, and you could lose a game. You could
Well,
easily lose a game to the
how
Heat.
about Cody for
Yeah, Kobe
Chicago?
White.
42
Like,
points.
Yeah. No, you're
so I
right.
don't think you can ever expect a sweep. I think you basically should be thinking you should win this series in 5 games and at the
Right.
worst 6, right? If you
Six,
get,
Oh,
think
six,
you get
it
a
should
sweep.
be 5 games. The Celtics in the playoffs are famous for taking the night off.
But see, there's a difference. Like, I don't think they take nights off. I don't think they took nights off. I
Yeah.
think they just don't shoot well sometimes. And when you don't
Yeah.
shoot well, look at the Sixers in the first half last night. They shot horribly, and it just infected everything about their game.
Yeah.
But look, we'll go back to the 80s, the great Larry Bird teams. They took care of the first round.
Yeah,
They didn't
well,
screw
hang
around
on a
one
second,
bit.
Scotty. Wait a second. Like they almost lost to, I think in 86, they almost lost that first series. Remember 2008, the Celtics were lucky to get out of that freaking Atlanta series. And the game has changed so much where back then it was tough to have a horrible shooting night like we have horrible shooting nights now because these guys are in the post and they're taking 2 shots,
Yeah.
2-point shots.
Right, but take a team that's their biggest star is not going to play. I mean,
I understand that. My only point, we're all on the same page. They're
Yeah.
going to win the series. I'm just saying, like, they lose a game or two because they shoot horribly. Another team gets hot. We shouldn't lose our minds.
no, we
Yeah.
shouldn't. But like you talked about and I mentioned all the time in the bubble, you need to have easy series. You need to have at least one
You
easy
do.
series
You
in
do.
round one or round two to set yourself up for the grueling series of a
Right.
final.
Oh, I
Right.
agree, but remember, like Russ was saying about 2008, they went to the max on just about every series
You know the
and double,
Celtics
triple
record?
overtime.
Do you know what the Celtics record in the playoffs in 2008 was?
What?
16-10. They lost 10 games.
I know. It was tough. I
10
know.
games.
Yeah.
I
If the
know.
Celtics
They
this
were,
year if they win the title and they lose 10 games, I won't have a hair left in my head.
I know, right? I know. Can you picture this team losing 10 games in the playoffs?
Yes, I can. That's what I'm telling you is that they could go shoot horribly in 5 games, and the other team could shoot really well in 5 games, and you could lose 10 games. You just could.
No, I'm not prepared for that either. I agree with you. No, I don't even. I'm not even prepared for a game 6.
against Miami, geez, Miami just doesn't even have the defenders in the paint. If you're not shooting threes, you can just drive them.
Well, no,
Really.
Joe, wait a minute. Joe, did you forget about Bam Adebayo? He's a
Yeah,
great
but he
defender.
can't be everywhere at once,
Oh, I know, but I
and
mean,
they never play drop on defense so that he's back there rim protected. They
I
usually
get
make
it.
him come out and play.
I know, but like he's a great
Yeah.
he's a all I need.
Oh,
That's
as
it.
we saw on
Yeah,
Jason Tatum trying to stuff
right,
the ball.
right.
Well, maybe he can sprain his ankle before the end of the
Hey,
game.
Scotty,
Or
all I'm
just
saying is you're falling back. Like you basically jinxed the Celtics so bad last
I
year
know.
that you lost them a series, and now I'm getting the same shit coming out of your mouth again, saying stuff like this.
We just
I
have
told
to.
Russ, I told him the other day that I'd be the jinx this year. I'll go out and
Jesus.
say
I just
Miami
want them.
stinks.
Scotty, the word sweep should not come out of your mouth for the next 2 months.
All right, all right.
Mhm.
Okay, if it happens, it happens. All right.
Okay?
But I promise. They're so annoying. We can't, they have our numbers so bad. I
They
mean,
are.
Didn't we go 4-0 against them this year?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, we went 6-0 total against the Bulls and the
Yeah.
Heat. But I mean, this is really the Giants Patriots. They're our kryptonite. I don't
They
know.
have been. Yeah.
There was
They
no
have been.
reason that they beat us last year. That was just ridiculous. We should have,
Yeah.
well, we should have, I can't say the word, but
Especially after that D White tip in, they had
Guys,
all the
though, like
momentum.
they
I don't
shot
know.
so much better in the playoff series than they shot in the regular season, in the first 2 playoff series they won, in the finals. they just went on a heater.
Mm.
They just did. And that's that's the position the Celtics were in. They do not have the margin of error that they have this year with Porzingis to play against that zone.
Yeah.
Who's going to be the difference of the two acquisitions in the offseason, KP or Holiday? Pick one who's going to be a difference
I
in the
think they're
playoffs
both
compared to
important.
last year?
KP gives you an option you never had before, but Holiday gives you the poise and professionalism to approach the playoffs a little better than they did last year
I think we'll
Who makes a bigger
notice.
difference?
or the year before.
I think it's probably going to be KP. I think we'll notice that KP makes a bigger difference, but
Yeah.
Drew is a very close second. He's just the fulcrum of that defense right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's an adult.
He's the guy that's going to take Bam Adebayo. He's the guy that's going to take Giannis. He's the guy that's going to take Embiid, unfortunately. God bless his soul.
Of the starting six, who could we afford to lose to injury in the playoffs?
Oh, Horford, probably.
Horford.
Yeah.
But I
Although-
tell you, he's a key guy.
He is. I don't want to lose any of them,
I
but
love the
don't
defense
wanna-
you can play with them.
right. You don't want to lose Porzingis, Brown, Tatum.
Hmm.
Like White is so good, and I wouldn't know. It's clearly Horford.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clearly.
All right. Okay.
I think I'd even want Horford, allow Horford over Pritchard or Hauser.
No, Joe.
No.
Joe.
Don't.
Come on.
What are you
now.
talking about? Come on,
Come on, Joe.
Joe. Al Horford is so clutch and does so many things.
Oh yeah. But
Pritchard.
it's because they don't cover him. He's always got the wide open jumper. It's not like he's being contested. The other center's usually playing drop defense. He's down rim protecting, and Al gets the uncontested shots.
2 weeks ago, actually last week, Russ had Pritchard maybe not hardly even playing in the playoffs.
No, I think he'll play in spots, but you do the math.
No, he'll play
if
when Holiday's out.
Look,
Simple as that.
if you expect these guys, their minutes are going to go up in the playoffs. So you're looking at Tatum and Brown playing 36, 37 minutes. Porzingis is going to play over 30. White and Holiday will play. Like, there's just not many minutes, Scotty. I think Pritchard's probably in a 10-minute a game role in the playoffs, unless they need him for something.
Well, my surprise guy who's going to get more minutes than you think he's going to is going to be Cornette.
Could happen, foul trouble, little injury. They want to go two bigs.
They don't like the defense. They don't like how things are going.
I think that's going to be matchup. Like if they end up playing Milwaukee and Giannis is back, you're going to see Tillman playing on Giannis.
Yeah. Well, this is an exciting time, obviously. We just need to stay healthy, and there's no reason why we shouldn't plow through the East. The East scared me a lot more last year than this year. I tell you something, Embiid, God bless him. That kid does give a great effort, but he was sucking wind like I've never seen a player before, and he looks completely out of shape. He looks in shambles.
Although, hey, that's all right. And then he scored 11 points in the fourth quarter and won this team the game.
No. He's an incredible player, and the guy gives an effort. But I'm telling you, this is a guy who's no way going to get through the rigors.
Well, that's why we're going to throw Tillman and Kata at him and lean on him and just
look, guys, we're probably not going to play the Sixers. I mean, chances are,
they're in the other side now.
They're in the other side. They've got to get past the Knicks, and then they're going to have to get past, probably Milwaukee. Right.
Do you think who was I
Who
forget who the player for the Sixers was saying we wanted to win this so that we'd be playing the Knicks, not the Celtics.
Right. We would play if we win this series, Scotty, we're going to play the winner of the Orlando Indiana series.
Oh wow.
Oh, I'm sorry, no, Orlando Cleveland.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds great. That's perfect, right?
We don't see the Sixers for a long time. We wouldn't see the Sixers until
they probably won't be there.
Yeah.
So this is exactly what we wanted last year, which we got.
Yeah.
And this year, we don't want to play Philly and Milwaukee, both teams, to get to the NBA.
But they're in the other bracket. Yeah. The four teams that we probably want to play the least are all in the other bracket: the Knicks, the Sixers, and Milwaukee.
Right.
right.
Perfect. We're only gonna have to play one of them if we obviously if we get
Only gonna have to play one of them.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's a nice route. You know, that's a Patriots route to the
Yeah.
finals. And
Yeah.
then there's are we good with any team not named the Denver Nuggets?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Any team not named the Nuggets.
Minnesota gave them a lot of trouble this year,
Yeah, but they don't score. Joe,
especially if
they
Towns
have.
will be coming. Is he back?
He's back, but they have a bigger problem than we do scoring it at the end of these
Yeah.
games. They're big. They're going to beat. They're very big. By the way, Orlando is very big and very physical. Like if we play Orlando, we're gonna feel that. That we might only play them 5 games, but we're gonna feel those 5 games.
Right. So we want
Cleveland, I
Cleveland.
would say. Yeah.
Yeah, Cleveland. Who they have Donovan Mitchell and who else?
In Garland.
Garland, they've got Jared Allen, they've
Yeah.
got Mobley, but they just something doesn't look right.
Isn't Mobley hurt?
Mitchell's been hurt. Mobley's been a little hurt. Everyone's back, but they're not.
Yeah.
They're not completely healthy. No.
Yeah, they had a lot of injuries this year.
They did.
Donovan Mitchell was out, Darius Garland was out, both for
Right.
real extended periods too.
Well, we'll obviously go the Bruins next, but starting Saturday, it's just fun. It's just fun.
Every
Well,
other
look at
night,
what's going
pretty much.
on. The Bruins, the Celtics are in the playoffs. The draft is next week. The Red Sox, it's baseball season. But it's the
All right,
best.
do you guys want to go the Bruins or the Red Sox next?
Take your pick.
All right, we'll go the Red Sox. Look, today's we were talking before the show. Today's lineup was basically a minimum salary matinee. Other than what Reese McGuire, every player on the Red Sox starting lineup made the minimum. Is this, if you think about it, is this one of the lowest points in the history of the Red Sox in our lifetime? That they just basically carted out in the 20th game of the season, Worcester.
Worcester probably thinks more.
Yeah, I would say why don't we go back to like the early 80s? It was dark in the early 80s. Like there were some really, really bad teams after they lost Fisklin and Burleson. So for me, it's as dark as it's been since then.
Yeah, right. And then also the Mike Lansing time. What was
Yeah, I mean there was
2000?
the Joe Kerrigan, years that was pretty bad, but
Bobby Valentine, we already won a couple of World Series, so we could, so we were all filled up. But this feels like not only they're not trying, again, it feels like they're sabotaging the team in some level. Because how do you go from one? Remember, last year we signed Yoshida. We spent money last year. 2 years ago, it was what Story. And now to put out this lineup today, Russ, explain it to me. What is going on?
Look, Scotty, they've told us candidly at this point everything that we need to know, which is we will spend again on this team when we feel like we've got a baseline of really good young players and we're going to spend to put ourselves over the top. They've said that several times now, which is basically code for saying until Mayer and Roman Anthony and Kyle Teal come up and we've got those guys in position on, 6 or 7 spots of the field are going to be our own homegrown guys. We're not going to go out and spend the big money for 2 top hitting stars and 2 top pitchers.
But Joe,
I told them that.
No,
Yeah,
you're
because
right.
and I can see their point now. If they went out and spent, they could maybe hope to be in 3rd place in that division this year. Still behind the Orioles, still behind the Yankees. Big deal. I meant to ask you, Scotty, you keep track. Have any of Heim's draftees made the team? Is Raphael a Heim draftee?
Well, Rafaela would have been a foreign signee because he's not from this country. So I don't know.
But did Heim
Rafaela
sign
he probably
in the
signed.
Heim in the
He signed
Heim?
it for low money. It was like 10,000-15,000.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Heim probably signed
So
Rafaela.
none of Heim's draftees have come up yet.
Well, but yeah, they're not up yet because
This
is
he was
5
only there for 3
years.
years, right?
Yeah. No, they haven't. I mean, I guess the best thing that Heim has.
How about Bayo? Or was he a
question? I don't know. That's a good
He was
question.
signed
Whitlock,
a long
obviously.
time ago. No, he was signed a long time
Oh,
ago.
was he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Whitlock
like
obviously
I
is a
was
Heim guy.
going through and like guys like Cassis and Duran were all Dumbo guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
No,
that's
but
much, Joe. They just haven't had a lot of times. You know, he
Yeah.
was only there
Well,
for a
although
year.
Mayer's doing very well. I was looking at after today's game, he was hitting like 333.
9-game hitting streak. Anthony's a stud too. Had 2 home runs in a
Yeah.
double header. Teal is fantastic. Look, they can say that all 3 guys that you mentioned, Russ, are performing at a high level right now,
Right.
early in the season. Will any of those players be called up this year?
Will they be called up to Worcester where they're close by too, you know?
I don't think they're going to spend much time in Worcester. I would
Yeah.
be shocked if they go from Double-A straight to the majors.
I wouldn't be surprised if Mayer came up for a handful of games late in the year. Maybe Anthony Teal, they'll just leave because
Yes.
catchers take a long time. Guys, I don't think they're going to spend a lot next year. I think you may start to see the spending loosen up next year if they feel like those 3 guys are getting closer. I think it's basically 2 years from now before they heavily invest in this team.
Well, that's the irony in these 20 games they've really blown. The Red Sox have the best ERA in baseball.
Yep.
They have 20 games so far.
20 errors.
26 unearned runs.
Yep.
26 unearned runs in 20 games.
20 errors in 20 games with 26 unearned runs.
To show you what the Kansas City Royals have, no unearned runs right now. None.
Yeah.
In the games the Red Sox have not made an error, they're 8-1.
And by the way, it's worse than the errors. There are balls getting through the infield that a decent Double-A shortstop or second baseman would get to.
Yeah.
Cora, I think, has had enough of Reyes. He called them out after the game. He's like,
That was awful.
I got nothing here.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, I got no hand to play with here with Hamilton and
Reyes
and Valdez as your infield and Casas who can't catch a freaking ball.
Yeah, I've been very disappointed with Tristan's defense. I thought he was a plus defender. I had heard that going through up the whole system that he was a plus defender. I gave him a break for last season, but seriously, he's a non-athlete out there.
He's a statue.
He can't move at all. I don't know how you correct that. Again, they have
But he doesn't.
DHs.
A lot of those throwing errors, he has a good. I mean, it's a one hopper, and it just goes like today's. That was all on him. Third, Reyes gets the error, but that was a terrible play by Casas.
In the game, Russ, you were at a couple nights ago. What is Tristan Casas doing? He should be hugging second base.
Oh,
I don't know.
And that cost them a game.
Yeah, it did. I mean, that was all between the errors and the base running gaff. They should have had that. And then Jensen, I mean, you got to trade Jensen. They're going to start trading guys, I think, in the middle of next
early and
month,
often, yeah.
right? I mean, why is Kenley Jensen on this team?
I don't know.
What are we doing?
They probably could put that Slayton in too as a closer. He looks
Whatever.
I
I mean,
and then Chris Martin might as well go too. I mean, there's
Martin,
no reason.
Martin,
Well, given their
Jensen,
age, they're both well over 35, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, given their age, they're soon to dump them for younger prospects to bring along.
And you might as well trade Reese McGuire now. If you could probably, the moment some team gets an injury with a catcher, send him away and just try to get pitching prospects. This is all you do.
Honest to God, if this team middles it again at the deadline, I'm going to lose my freaking.
Oh, no, you got to sell. Why get nothing for the Valdez or the?
They middled it the last 2 years. They middled it, and they got nothing at the deadline.
Nothing. And it's proven
that Heim didn't know how to handle that deadline. He was doing dumb things. The only one he got something for was Vasquez.
Yeah, but those guys are proven out to be stiffs. I mean, Valdez and Abreu aren't anything. They're nothing. They're just,
they're 4A players. I grant you.
Yeah, I mean, it's all going to be the cornerstone of this team moving forward. Is obviously Devers, Mayer, Teal, Anthony, and Duran and Casas, as far as positional players, and the fact is what do we have with the starters? Tanner Houck all of a sudden is, I mean, remarkable game he pitched last night.
Mhm.
Three
Historic.
shutout games he's put together.
Historic. All of a sudden they have the Tanner Houck they developed and through their system, right? All of a
Yeah.
sudden you have Bayo. All of a sudden, if Whitlock needs to go back to the bullpen, oh my God, how many
How many
times
times do we, I mean, guys, honestly, how many times do we have to do this?
Yeah,
They throw him in as a starter, he throws some nice games, and he gets
an
an oblique
oblique.
injury, he gets a this injury or gets a that injury. Like, he's not a starting pitcher. Can we freaking just admit that at this point in time?
I know, right? Get
He
rid
just
of
doesn't have the longevity in his body that is
No.
required by a starter.
no. But whose decision is this? Is this Cora's or in this case?
No, this is
That-
not
that's
Cora's.
management.
This is a company decision. This is not Cora's decision.
Does Cora have any say in the personnel right now? Because I can't believe
I don't
Cora
think
would
so.
want to. Why does he
I-
put Dahlbeck on in the right in the
I
starting
think-
lineup ever?
He's a lame duck, Scotty, and he knows it. The team knows it. My guess is, they may, depending on how the year goes, let him. But he's gone. If you're pretty sure a manager's not going to be here next year, you're going to let him make any personnel decisions?
Yeah.
No, right?
No.
But is it a FU to him when you put a guy and say play?
No, they don't have anybody
Yeah,
else.
that's why he's probably not going to he's made
Who do
no
they
attempt
have?
to resign to open
Right.
contract negotiations either. He doesn't want to be here.
No.
Look, I keep on hearing the rumors louder and louder that the next manager of the Boston Red Sox is not going to be Mike Binky Veritek. It's going to be Andrew Bailey.
Oh, God. All right.
That's Breslow's guy. He brought him in, and he's gonna. I mean,
You
would
can
you
count
who's
on one
gonna be
hand
the
how many
pitching
pitching
coach?
coaches made great managers in Major League Baseball, right?
Right.
The guy that
One
won the
hand.
2018
Yeah,
barrel.
no 13.
13.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Cora got the guy.
Yeah,
still
yeah,
the
Cora, the guy you don't want is 18.
what? I mean, we have like 75 more games to go to at home of 74. What's the interesting plot line for the rest of the season?
Well, look, Von Grissom's going to be back up. I'll be looking forward to
Yeah.
seeing him play. That'll be
Okay.
nice. Like, because you could see him as part of the infield long term. Like, we don't have a second baseman long term.
No, we don't have
He's
anybody.
it, right? And because then you could see Mayer and Devers, and then you'd have Teal and Anthony and everybody else. So I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing Houck pitch, Bayo pitch. That's about it.
It's right. It's right. It's small little victories, right, Joe?
Yeah, but like Russ encapsulated, we're looking at the young guys coming along, hoping for a better future.
I love watching Jaron Duran play every day.
I love watching him when he gets on base.
I hate watching him in the field. He's
I know, but like, boy, when he hits a ball that could be a double or a triple, or he gets on first base,
you're hoping for the inside the park.
he's just amazing. He hit a ball the other night in the park where, had it gotten past the right fielder, you would have had it inside the park home run, no doubt. That would have been the most exciting play I would have seen in years.
He hasn't gotten one yet, right?
I don't know. I don't think
career?
so. Yeah, I don't
I
think
don't
so.
think so. He hit one gapper. Was it today for a triple? And I thought they were going to send him. So
Yeah.
yeah.
He's a good base runner too. He turns he's not just fast, he hits the bases just right, so he's
Yeah.
taking the minimum number of steps, so he really gets between the bases real quick too.
They said the 6 top earners, the Red Sox: Jansen, Sale, Golito, Devers, Story, and
All on the injured list.
but Sale is obviously doesn't play for the Reds. Are contributing nothing.
Yeah.
So the 6 biggest earners of the Red Sox, and you can't have that on a franchise and expect any success.
They have 10 guys
enough.
on the injured list right now. 10
Yeah.
guys. That's like over half. That's half your team.
Russell, you talk about Chris Sale affecting, basically was the impetus into
Poison.
the bed steal. He's still affecting us this many years later. That shows
Yep.
you one bad contract.
Yep. Yeah, they chose wrong. They really did. And they're paying the price for it still to this day. Now, of course, he's the second starter on Atlanta right now, and he's playing well.
Yeah, he's doing good.
No, it wasn't. What are you talking about? How is he doing well? He was
Oh,
he
I think he's pitching pretty well right now.
Yeah.
no, he sucked in his second start or third
Right,
start.
but like by and large, I don't know, he's made like 4 starts. He's not been bad. Let's put it that way. He might have been bad for one
Oh.
start, but
He had when I looked the last time, he had a decent ERA,
That
like
phony baloney is going to
2.95.
be hurt before June. We
oh, I
know.
mean, I'm not predicting that he's going to be successful this year. I'm just saying, like, it just goes to figure. Like, he screwed us. He screwed us every way that you could possibly screw this team.
He was a rotten apple in the barrel, always finding a way to get injured. I think he's rubbed off on Devers too.
Oh yeah, that's what. Before we go to the Bruins, I just feel like Devers has already quit. First of all, he is as out of shape as you could possibly be a Major League Baseball player, and every day now he has an injury. He thought his knee was okay. And he's like, nah, it's bothering me still. I feel like he's quit. I really have, guys.
Yeah, it's I've been a pretty big pretty big defender, I guess, in a sense of him, and I can't really defend him right now, right? He's just not playing well defensively. He looks out of shape. He's got 2 injuries so far this year, and he's not hitting.
Oh, his strike zone. He's expanded the strike zone to like anything within 3 feet of himself. That's why he's striking out so much. But
Yeah.
He is part of the future. If you have him in cases as your sluggers,
Yeah, I mean,
that's a good backbone to a
yeah,
lineup, and you can piece together the plate setters, the on base guys like the Durans, and
right.
probably the way Mayor's gonna be, and Story, and those
Yeah.
guys.
But
But
the problem is that I mean it's starting to look more and more every day like Devers looks like is your DH, right? When
Yeah.
by the time they get good again, I think you may end up saying, "Oh, geez, this guy's a DH. He's not a everyday third baseman for a World Series team."
Yoshida's. What are they going to do with Yoshida then? Because
He'll be gone by
they
then.
benched
Like,
him.
they
yeah,
sat him today because the guy just can't hit anymore.
Holy jeez, they got some bad
Well,
contracts.
why don't they put Rafaela as shortstop? That Hamilton just Duran's not a great center fielder, but he can play the position. He played the position all last year.
I know. I don't
He's
understand.
got the speed to cover ground. He just gets a bad break on the ball.
I think you're right. I think you're right, Joe, and Russ, you're right. I mean, this whole core lame duck. I think he's totally checked out. I don't think it bothers him at all that they lose games. I really don't, because he
Well, he
knows he's
seems
not
pretty
gonna be.
mad after today. He's getting
I
sick
mean,
of
you
these
could be.
guys.
I don't. Scotty, I don't know what. I I get. He's a competitive guy. He doesn't want to lose games. It's bad for him to lose games. I just think it's just bad to be a lame duck. He's got no truck in the org. These players know he's a lame duck. Like if you're a player, and you're pretty sure you're not going to have to core to deal with, beyond this year. Do you really care? Like
Yeah.
if Tristan Casas gets chewed out because he made a completely bewildering play as a base running play, do you think Casas really cares?
No, right? No, he doesn't.
And
Doesn't.
that's why you had guys like Verdugo that keep pushing, you know,
Yeah,
pushing
yeah,
until they finally had to get rid of him.
yeah. All right, gotta go to the Boston Bruins. We start on Saturday. I can't. Thankfully, that this game's going to mean something. Did this Bruins tank the last 2 games not to play Tampa?
They might have. You called it.
Yeah.
You've been saying, like, is there anything they can do to avoid Tampa? Well, they could lay down for 2 games.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. What did they score? 1 goal in 6 periods?
Yeah, it was pretty clear. Look, Tampa just physically, we don't want to be playing them the first round.
Well, last time we played, we were 4-0 against Toronto this year, but the last meeting they pushed us around. They really pushed us around. That's when they decided to go out and get Pat Maroon. They got Pat Maroon the next day
I
because
mean, oh right, yeah, they did, right?
Toronto pushed us. It was a Thursday night. It was
Yeah,
the game was on while we were
right.
on the show, and Toronto was pushing them all over the place.
Yeah.
Bertuzzi was sticking his hand in everyone's face, and
But it's a better matchup. I mean, at least in my mind, it's a better matchup to play the Maple Leafs than Tampa.
oh yeah, that they were 4-0 against them this year, and there's a reason why. That
We're the Maple Leafs dad until further notice. We're the Maple Leafs dad,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And so, like, I'd much rather play Toronto. We may lose, but I'd much rather go into a series playing Toronto than Tampa. Oh my
and
God.
it's more fun watching Austin Matthews and William Nylander, and
Who would we
them.
play in the second round?
I don't know.
Yeah, you're asking us to extrapolate.
Yeah, I just don't know how the NHL playoffs to me is very confusing. Division winners, and you're in the division, you're
Because
out.
they reseed and
Yeah.
all that. So
I'm
Weird.
all for both reshuffling the deck for all sports. I hate this stuff where it's
the NBA where you're on one side or the other.
it's not right. Just reshuffle the deck like they used to, right? Back in the day in the 80s, they used to reshuffle the deck, did they?
Yeah, they'd reseed.
I didn't. Yeah, I wasn't. I'm not sure about that actually. It's a good question.
They used to reseed back in the real old days, I remember. When it was just 1 through 4 in each conference. So
what do the Bruins have to do? What's their pathway to a cup? What do they what signs do you have to see for the Bruins?
Like a power play that works would be nice.
yeah.
If you
You better
assume
get
really
some
good
out of
I mean, you have to assume good goaltending. They won't get out of a first series if they have anything other than really good goaltending.
Who did Montgomery name his goaltender?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Allmark's been the far superior goalie since the All-Star game. Swayman just hasn't been the same, but Swayman has an excellent record against Toronto.
Just you got to rotate your goalies. You did it all year long. Start Allmark in game 1 if you think he's a little bit better, and rotate them because that's what you did during the year.
Yeah. And they don't have a good goalie. But I assume Samsonov's going to be the starter, not Wolf. And they've owned Samsonov over the years.
They're probably glad they didn't trade Olmark now.
I guess I don't know.
Well, he's played so much better in the second half of the year. He wasn't all that. He wasn't like he was last year in the first
Did it
half.
ever come out what we were going to get in return if we traded him? Who were we going to trade him to?
I don't. Oh, it was like
There
the
was
Kings.
probably a number
I
of
think it was the
teams.
West Coast. I think it was the Kings.
Yeah, did we? It never came out what the package was.
Well,
No.
a lot of it was getting rid of the money, getting salary cap relief.
Yeah.
Do you think they re-signed Swayman in the offseason?
They're
Yes.
going to have to.
Yeah.
Because Olmark has one more year, right?
I think so.
I think so. Yeah. Swayman's their goalie of the future. I mean, he's been really good.
So they have to sign him, and going to have to pay him.
Yeah.
If the Bruins lose in the first round, is Montgomery's job in jeopardy?
That's a great question. My guess is they give him one more year, but like he's on notice, right?
Yeah, right.
But I don't think there's the friction between Montgomery and Sweeney like there was with Cassidy.
Well, I wish we had Cassidy. I always liked him. I know it was Bergeron and a few other guys who got Cassidy sent.
And ironically, that didn't get us much, right? Bergeron and whoever, Krejci, didn't want Cassidy.
First round.
And they lost in the first round, and then they retired.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And now Bergeron's doing Sal's Pizzas commercials.
This is why you don't let your players pick the coach. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right. Or the fans.
Right?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Does a guy like DeBrusque need to excel in the playoffs? Those kind of wild cards
He's a free agent.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to need name one guy, Russell, that needs to stand out in these playoffs.
McAvoy, just like is McAvoy, is he really a top 10 defenseman in the NHL, or is he a lot of hype? I think McAvoy's I think McAvoy's got to step up and play like high-end Norris Trophy contender kind of hockey. It's time. Like, why we can't wait for this anymore.
Why do you feel like he's had just a so
I think
so
he's fine.
season?
I think he's a good, solid defenseman, but I don't think he's like a Norris Trophy.
Oh, and he never finishes even in the top 5 in the voting. So.
Right. It's like, we really you need a number one defenseman who's just elite, and he's got to play like that.
And sometimes he does, and he can take over a game when he does. He's
Yeah.
a great skater, great passer,
Right.
and sometimes he just
You don't
doesn't.
notice him.
Yeah,
You just don't notice him out there.
How about Lindholm? I thought he was supposed to be a number one.
Yeah, I don't think he's been particularly noticeable. I remember when he first came up to the Bruins, he was,
He made a
you'd
big
see
difference.
him, you'd really follow him, and
Yeah.
he's not the same player. And the other guy, I would just say, Coyle's had such a good year.
Yeah.
You just need him to play like number one, number two center, level hockey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Zaka too. The two centers have to come to the fore in this.
So I told before we end the show, I forgot. First of all, Celtics playoff predictions. Doesn't even matter. How many Chicago / Heat, Joe, first round, how many games?
5 tops.
Okay. Russell?
I think Joe said 5. I'm going to say 6. I don't think it's going to feel like, oh my God, I can't believe, like, I think it will be a comfortable 6-game series.
Sort of like Atlanta last year.
Yeah, I think they'll win. I wouldn't be surprised if they lose the first game. It's been forever since they've had to win a basketball game, right?
They've only had one away game in a month.
Yeah.
In a month.
I could see them losing game 1 and game 5.
Oh my God.
It's okay. It's okay. In a 7-game series, they're gonna lose a game or two. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter who they play.
They're gonna blow a big lead, that's for sure. If they lose, it's gonna be a big lead. It's gonna be
You're setting yourself up for disappointment. You're gonna have joyless victories, and you'll be
You understand that winning a 6-game series counts as a win. Like, that's a good thing when you win a 6-game series.
I can't go game 6 means 3 games to 2, and we're gonna.
You're up 3-2. Say you're up 3-2, and you get a nice lead in game 6, and you coast. Is that going to be stressful?
No, that's fine. But I want an early big lead.
Okay. You're going to be all right.
I don't want to lose any game 1s. What are you talking about? Game 1
It's the likeliest game that they lose
at home.
Yeah, because they haven't played in like a month of a game that really matters.
I want to win all the odd numbered games. That's all I care about. All the odd numbered games.
Right.
Did the 8 team lose any home games?
What was that?
Did the 2008 Celtics lose any home games?
Yes, they lost 10 games.
No, playoffs.
Yeah, they lost 10 playoff games. I'm sure they lost home games. I mean, you can't lose.
Yeah,
10
nothing like the Celtics last year.
The
Celtics last year.
Like statistically, the likelihood is that they didn't.
I don't remember them losing too many home games, but okay. Oh my God, this is. I don't know if I'm built for this. Can't we
You're
just
really not?
Can we just go to the parade?
You're just gonna have to time it so that you come in with 5 minutes to go, and you only have to deal with 5
No, I'm
minutes.
gonna watch.
Hey, Joe, do we know who plays on Thursday night next week? Is it the Bruins or I think it's the Bruins probably. If the Patriots draft JJ McCarthy and either of our teams lose a game, I don't even know. Like, I don't even think we can get the paramedics to the house fast at that point.
It'll be draped in black.
Much less the patient to Brigham and Women.
I can't even. Don't see. You're just poking me again. Just don't. No, come on. Don't. All right, Bruins, Maple Leafs. See, you got me so aggravated now. I gotta come on. Show.
Bruins win in 7.
I'll say 6.
Go 7. We're gonna.
Yeah.
What is this? I don't know if I'm playoff ready, to be honest.
Okay, here's a good trivia question. What year was the last time the Toronto Maple Leafs beat the Bruins in a playoff series?
Oh, probably 50s.
40s.
59.
All right. See, there you go.
That's that long ago. That's 2/3 of a century ago.
But I just love looking at the original 6 uniforms, to be honest with you, too.
Yeah.
Tampa doesn't even feel like it's in the NHL. So I'm just glad they were playing
Oh, and they finally the Coyotes are gone.
Yeah.
No, I know. I saw
I would
sent
say
them.
that the favorite hockey game I've watched in many years was that 1-0 Tampa Bruins game on
Oh,
a
that was a good
Saturday
game.
during that was
That was a playoff atmosphere.
one of the coolest
Yeah.
sporting events I've watched in a long, long time. That was an unbelievable game. Yeah.
All right, Joseph, what do you think?
Oh, I'm saying 6 games. The Bruins are victorious. Only because that top line can cause some problems. They score a lot, and sometimes they get ahead and can hang on to the lead. But other than that, the Bruins should be able to come back, and they should be able to score on them pretty easily.
Yeah.
Samsonov has never been
Scotty,
able
what
to
are you
hold up
predicting?
against them.
I think it's gonna be
What do you
5 games, the Bruins. I think this is a good matchup for the Bruins. Absolutely. You know, I know they got the crap kicked out of them a little bit, like you said, Joe, the last game they played them, but overall, this is not as physical a team as the Floridas and the Tampas of the world. And those are
Scotty
the
picked
Yeah,
five
you're right.
games. Scotty picked 5 games for his own health.
No,
all.
I can't. Yeah, I don't need this. No, I'm not playoff ready.
Well, I didn't catch
I have to grow
your
some before they
what
start.
was your prediction for the Celtics with the Heat
Because no, you
last
let me say that word.
Chicago?
They play-
You are predicting that.
absolutely, they're going to win in 4 games. Absolutely. I'm not going to say that word, but they're going to win. There's no reason for them to lose games. This is, again, I told you when the season started, I said, if they're going to be dominant, they're going to win 60 plus games.
You are the idiot of
Incorrigible.
Brookline Village is what you are. Once again, you've now cursed our basketball.
I'm not cursing them. No, but they need to take care of business. If they're the dominant team, like I said.
Winning a series in 5 games is taking care of business.
Oh.
I'm sorry, it is.
No,
It,
I
and
want them
it does
dominant.
depend on whether it's Miami or Chicago. I think Chicago will
I
give
wanna
them a
send
better
them-
series.
I just don't want to win. I want to send a message that this 23-24 team is one of the
Not
greatest
fooling
teams
around.
in the history of the NBA. I want faux. That's what I want. Like Moses Malone would say, that's what I want. I want domination. There's no reason that this team should ever lose a game in the playoffs. There's no reason. They're too good. They're too deep. We've got things are going our way. No. I mean, well, I don't want to lose any games ever. No, this is going to be historic. I'm not predicting.
This is nothing like setting your expectations
I'm
unnaturally.
predicting no more than 16-3 record for the playoffs.
You're setting them up to fail.
This guy
No. I'm holding them up to a standard.
This is my concern now. Is Scotty's starting to talk like a Yahoo fan of the Jacksonville Jaguars who calls into the radio station at the beginning of every year saying, "I think the Jaguars should go 14-2, and anything less is a complete disaster."
They might go undefeated with a little luck.
Oh my God!
No,
Yahoo! You sound like a Yahoo. Stop.
I want greatness. That's what I get.
Well, you're wearing the wrong hat.
Yeah. No kidding.
All right, that's our show for today. I want to thank the fellas. I think. Please check us out on our website, thegrandstanders.com, and tune again next Thursday night for our exciting NFL draft show. We may be there all night. I'm sure that when Drake May gets drafted by the Patriots, will be his first call. My name is Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.